Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly."
I find that if you fill your day and your mind with productive things, the negative things have no space.
People often ask me how I'm able to cope with all the bashing and toxicity that I received on social media, especially during my time when I was coaching Gilas in the World Cup and in the previous tournaments. And one of the reasons why I was able to handle all of that and cope with it was because while there were quite a lot of haters, there were also a lot of supporters. And one of those supporters who always let me know and kept reminding me, "Coach, marami kami dito nagsusuporta sa'yo, marami dito nagmamahal sa'yo," is our guest this episode, the Chief Agency Officer and EVP of Insular Life Assurance Corporation, or for short, Mr. Stephen Ong. Coach S, maraming salamat. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
An honor for me, Coach. Magandang araw.
Yes. I just want to make it clear, it's not because you're one of my supporters that you're here. Of course, I really appreciate that. But we go back a long ways with Stephen, because even when he was with another company, we did a lot of talks and workshops with his sales team, with his people, with his leaders. And now in his new designation, I believe he has a lot of lessons to share and a lot of learnings that we can glean from the very varied experience of the seasoned executive that we have today. Let me start by the way we always start Coaching Chronicles, and that's to just give us a brief background about yourself and your rise to becoming now the Chief Agency Officer and EVP of InLife.
When I was still coaching, I was the head coach of the Uno High School basketball team.
Yes.
And then an assistant coach with the UST Tiger Cubs with Coach Vicky Fabis. I was thinking of another way of having an income. So I walked in, become a life insurance agent. Mm-hmm. So during the first 10 years in this industry, I was a life insurance agent. And then I was a part-timer at the time. But when I allotted more time to life insurance selling, I became my former company's agent of the year for 3 consecutive
Kumbaga,
years.
sineryoso mo na.
Sineryoso ko na. So I became number 1 all over the country. So after being number 1, the former CEO of that company, the first company I was with, made a bold step for the first time. He appointed an agent and gave me a 6-step promotion from being an agent to become a territory head. So territory head handling the whole of Metro Manila sales team.
Wow.
So I was with my first company for 13 years.
So that's akin to being a sales manager na.
Yeah, parang sales manager na. Kumbaga parang head coach na bigla.
So let me stop you there. Let me interrupt you there, because we see that a lot of times, and yours is a very peculiar instance because marami tayong nakikita, magaling sa trabaho, magaling na salesman. Nung pre-promote na sales manager, then they kind of reached, I guess, their ceiling, and then they did not do well.
Yeah.
Diba? So what made you become successful in that transition?
At first, kasi aside from managing agents, I was also managing unit managers, branch managers, region managers. So it was a 6-step. During my first 3 months, I actually tendered my resignation. Parang I was telling my boss at the time, sabi ko, "Boss, parang coach din, di ba?
Okay.
Parang mas magaling pa tong mga agents sa akin, ayaw makinig." So I tendered my resignation. He refused it. And then I started working again. That's when I learned that even my success as a life insurance agent is not enough for them to be able to embrace what I want them to do. So slowly but surely, I explained to them why we were doing this. not really to tell them that this has made me successful, but explaining to them why we have to do this. This is for you, actually. We're trying to build this as a long-term career for everyone. So starting from there, they started listening.
Okay.
And then I moved to another company. And then after 5 years, I was appointed na yung chief agency officer in 2015 of August.
Okay. So, kumbaga from being player, naging coach ka.
Naging head coach.
Oh, head coach. Sino nagturo sa'yo mag head coach? Kasi we see that also a lot in basketball, in our sport, right? Very, very good players promoted right away to become a coach, and then they find they really struggle at coaching because it's really not the same. It's completely different. So, sinong nagturo sa'yo? How did you get the skills? Yeah.
When it comes to my job, leadership really matters a lot.
Yeah.
No, and I can say that it's not because you're interviewing me, pero alam mo naman kung when you were speaking with my team, medyo nakikita mo how they use the word puso. 'Di ba? How they use the word puso. Hindi lang puso 'di ba? Aside from the skills that you teach them, it's really important for them to really feel that you really care for them. Like kung natatandaan, coach, yung sinasabi nga, once Agilas, always Agilas. Doon pumapasok, coach, yung hindi lang pagiging coach nyo, pagiging parang ama. I was fortunate enough to learn also from one of your former deputies, si Coach Binky Fabis, when I was just starting. So yung leadership niya, nakikita ko rin. So yung leadership in basketball, actually applicable sa sales. You need to motivate them. You need to be unpredictable at times. You need to let them know that you're not just after their skills, but you really care for them. And once you show them that you really care for them, once they're out there on the field, dun pa rin pumapasok talaga yung puso, hindi para sa tao. Puso rin whenever they would face their clients and their customers, that they're after the welfare of their clients as well. So it's a combination of skills, combination of that puso, combination of letting them know that this is just not about skills, but about the puso itself.
So by puso, you're really referring to compassion.
Compassion,
Parang ganon. Okay. So if we're going to, yung methodology kasi natin dito, Coach, is really not only talking about concepts and insights, but really the how-to kasi we're coaches tayo. So if you're going to distill it in a few lessons, what are the top 3 lessons that you can impart to our audience, are not only sports or basketball coaches, but we have audience, our listeners who are also entrepreneurs, business owners, executives, managers who want to climb the corporate ladder, or just people who want to learn about leadership? What are the top 3 lessons na tingin mo?
For me, top 3 lessons, number 1 is the value of preparation. The importance of winning is there, but the will to prepare is really vital. You need to come in very well prepared in every meeting, because your audience, your colleagues, those who are attending your meeting would know if you're not really prepared. Especially, even if they don't ask questions, sa presentation mo lang, they would know if you're really prepared. So preparation is really key.
Can you give us an example in your case? For example,
in my case, for example,
prepared as a leader.
Yeah, when you attend the meeting, you need to show them the numbers.
Okay.
Diba? Numbers are data. Sabi nga nila, numbers don't lie.
Yes.
So where are we in terms of numbers right now? Napaka-importante.
Yes.
Like for 3 things right now, I was asking them to focus now on 8 letters. NCA, newly coded agents. Ito yung recruitment part, because we really need to bring in more agents to make our team stronger. Yeah. Number 2 is AAC, active agent count. You need to make these agents active, because if you don't make them active, walang kwenta yung pag-recruit. And then number 3, PC, policy count. Ilan ba yung nade-deliver nila? How many Filipino families are they protecting? They're covering with life insurance coverages.
Yes.
So yun yung mga mapapakita mo, where are we in terms of numbers? Are we growing versus same time last year? Where are we versus plan? Now, if we are growing, why? If we are not growing, why not? Okay. So, yes, we're growing, pero can we still do better? So, yun importante. They want to show the numbers. They want to know the whys as well. So, coming in prepared.
That's how you show people
Yeah.
how prepared you are. Yes. Okay. And
And then the second one is, of course, dun pumapasok, hindi lang to puro skills. No, we're dealing with, this is a relationship business. So dun din pumapasok yung puso na, are you just after their numbers, after their performance, or do you really care for them as people as well? No, dun pumapasok yung
yes.
what kind of a leader are you when your team is winning? What kind of a leader are you when your team is losing?
Yeah.
And more often than not, dun mo mararamdaman na mas kailangan ka nila when the team is losing. So there are times na
Can we pause and double click on that? Yes. To the leaders, mga boss, when the team is losing, dun kayo mas kailangan ng inyong mga tao.
Yes.
Very, very well said. And I think that's a golden nugget. That's a golden insight right there. Yes. So so yung sinabi mo na you need to show them yung puso that you care for them. Again, sorry for my being insistent on that. So how do you do that? How do you show?
alam mo, whenever the team is losing,
Yeah.
mababa yung performance, dun mas down yung tao, mas emotional eh. So how do you support them? Sometimes, just telling them to take a break. Don't open your laptop, don't open your email, spend time with your family, or spend time resting at home. It matters a lot to them. No? Letting them know also that sometimes they would think, delikado ba ako ngayon sa trabaho ko? Okay? So you would assure them na, well, this is a pace. Not everyone is winning. You cannot win all the time. Doon din papasok when the performance is low, dyan na papasok yung mga tinatawag nating mga miron. Yung mga outside forces. And it doesn't only happen in sports. It happens
So ano rin yan?
everywhere.
Ano yan? Bulong brigade ba yan?
Yung mga yung mga walang kinalaman, biglang later on you would be, expert pala sila. Pero when you're winning,
Yung mga genius.
yung mga genius,
Yes, okay.
yung mga
okay.
so-called experts. So you just have to make sure that you protect your team from them and assure them that when we were winning, we were together. When we were preparing to win, we were the ones together. We were the ones working hard. We were the ones thinking of strategies, thinking of program on how are we going to achieve our goal, how to win. Ngayon na medyo nagkakaroon tayo ng konting challenge, it's the more that we should stay together. And for me, they will stay together. The leadership there matters a lot. Doon again papasok, where are you when the team is losing? Doon ka nila mas kailangan eh. Doon mo sila wag bibitawan.
Okay. Yes, that's really a great point to show us, for us leaders to show our people how much we care. Sabi nila, di ba, our people don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. But there's also a fine line between, okay, may compassion tayo and all, but where does compassion and accountability begin? Because sasabihin nila, paano kung talagang masama yung performance and when is it time or kasi there are no hard and fast rules dyan eh. Is that, how do you determine when it's time, when this person, sometimes as leaders, we need to make the tough call and deliver the bad news as well, right? So,
I think one of the most difficult tasks of a leader is delivering that message.
yes.
Pero dun mo makikita talaga is this person now becoming an outlier? Okay? When the team was losing, yung ibang miyembro medyo nag-i-improve na yung performance. Nakikita nila they're pivoting already for them to be able to change, di ba? Kasi not all plans will work. Pero doon minsan pumapasok not all plans are working because you need to adapt to new way of doing things. Is this person adapting already? Di ba meron ng kasabihan sa panahon ngayon, lalo na ng pandemic, more important than IQ and EQ is AQ.
Yep.
Can this person adapt to the changes?
Adaptability quotient, AQ, yes.
Can this person adapt to the changes that's happening right now? Given enough time, dun pa rin ba siya sa old ways na ginagawa niya dahil ayaw niyang baguhin? That's the time wherein you would really sit down and let him know the others are improving because they have pivoted already in things of doing things, pero ikaw nandito pa rin. How can we help you? Bibigyan mo pa rin ng oportunidad.
Meron pa rin.
Pero pag wala na, doon na yung tough conversation nangyayari.
Yes.
Na talagang sorry to say, but we really need to monitor your performance moving forward. Not really to put some pressure on you, but to help you out on improving your performance. Pag wala pa rin, doon na pumapasok yung toughest conversation.
Yes, mahirap talaga. Leadership is tough. Man. Leadership is tough. As much as we love giving the good news, it's really incumbent on us as well to deliver the bad news. I mean, our situation now as coaches, for me, that still remains the toughest part of our job, is to tell a player who's given you everything that you have to trade him or that you have to cut his contract. And sometimes it's just a numbers game, right? It's just there's only 12 spots or 15 spots in the roster. So you talked about being prepared. You talked about preparation. You talked about puso, the compassion. What's this the third?
For me, the third one is laying down the strategies and the plan very well.
Okay.
Because there are leaders who would really come in prepared. Pero napapansin ko may mga leaders pa rin na wouldn't really divulge clearly what the strategies are. Na hindi pa rin, takot pa rin siyang malaman or mas maging marunong. For me, especially in the corporate side, ayoko ng yes man eh. So I would really let them know the strategy or the programs moving forward, because they might see something that I did not see. Or they might be able to discover something that I have not yet discovered on the in the strategy, in the programs. Because a lot of times the one who made the strategy or the program would really see the strength and would really see a little weakness, di ba? I remember when I was a coach, whenever I would design a play, excited ako to tell my assistant coaches eh. Pero hindi ba sasabihin sa akin, coach, ang problema nito ganito, ganyan. So it's very important to explain to them clearly the full strategy, so that if there are weaknesses, that they will tell you. Once they tell you, you can now improve it. And then pag nailatag mo na yung buong strategy, maliwanag sa kanila. Kasi sometimes it's difficult for them to do something or to follow the leader, lalo na kung hindi maliwanag yung instructions or hindi maliwanag yung programa.
Yes, di ba?
Yeah.
Kung hindi malinaw, it's very hard to generate commitment. So okay yun, 3 P yun. So the 3 lessons of Coach Stephen really is preparation, puso, and a plan of action. So some very, very practical and applicable leadership lessons that you can take right away. So leaders, if you're listening to this, how well prepared are you? How much and how can you show your people how much you care? And finally, what is your plan of action moving forward? I know there's a plan, preparation. Planning is part of preparation, but the plan that that Stephen is referring to is the plan of action. What is your implementation? Kumbaga, the execution part, very, very important. In your time that you have been to different companies, different positions, what do you think is your superpower? Superpower.
If I'm going to ask even the former team that I was leading and my colleagues, ang lagi nilang sinasabi is my leadership with the heart. Yung puso leadership talaga.
Compassion.
Yes.
Compassion.
When I resigned from my former company more than a year ago, syempre meron mga umiyak dyan. Pero the one that really touched me is that nung
Wait a minute before you go there. You resigned without any job offer.
Without any job offer at the time.
Magandang kwento ulit. Okay, continue. Yes.
So, syempre, yung mga direct reports ko, yung team ko umiyak. Pero the one that really, kumbaga parang naluha na ako is that when I saw the janitor and the guard crying.
Wow.
Parang lumapit nga yung janitor eh. Sabi niya, boss, alis ka na talaga. Sabi ko, oo eh. Sabi niya, kayo lang ang tumatrato sa amin ng kung paano nyo kami tinatrato. So, for me, even the Facebook, yung mga tributes doon, laging may hashtag doon. Ang hashtag ngayon, naging may puso. Si Stephen, may puso, leadership with the heart. So, for me, that's something.
Superpower mo talaga yan. Yeah. Great. How was that like? How did you come to that decision? Ano yung feeling na you're resigning from a very good job, very good position, and you're resigning with no offer, nothing to, wala kang pupuntahan.
Yeah. At that time, it was I can say that was the lowest part in my career, na wala kang pupuntahan. Hindi mo alam kung may offer ba na darating. Pero at the time, I think yung prinsipyo pa rin ang nangibabaw eh. In my message to my team, ay sabi ko kasi during the hard times, ang sinasabi ko sa kanila, kaya natin to. Walang bibitaw. Yun ang hashtag namin at the time, walang bibitaw. Pero sabi ko, ako yung una yatang bumitaw. Pero sabi ko, kaya hindi ako bumibitaw sa inyo. Bumibitaw ako because I think this is what's best for the company. Dahil at that time, I think the new leadership would want to bring the agency team to another direction.
Okay.
So it's just right for me to step aside so as not to hinder whatever their plans are for the agency team at the time.
Well, this is a perfect segue because, as you know, our title is Coaching Chronicles, the men and women in the arena, and it's really about men and women in the sports and business world, corporate world, who have undergone tremendous adversity and come out of it, and what are the lessons that they learned. So what made you go through that while you were undergoing that adversity? Saan ka sumandal? What kept you going? And
Una pa rin, you would go to your family. Your family would always be there to be your
Support system.
number one cheering squad, your support system. Of course, you have friends there. You have some friends who would really believe in you, and they would be the ones encouraging you. Now, once the story would go out that you've stepped down, you've resigned, I'm sure may mga offers na darating. Pero to be honest, at the time, I was questioning, meron bang darating?
you really were not sure.
Hindi ka sigurado rin.
Never know.
So, yung sasandalan mo talaga first is you go back to your family. Na kahit anong mangyari, yun yung mga kakampi mo talaga. Whether you're up there, you're down there, yun yung mga kakampi mo talaga eh. And at that time, sasandalan mo rin yung prinsipyo mo eh.
Okay.
Because there were some immediate opportunities, pero you would really want to think of what will be best for you and the team that you'll be joining in the future as well.
So what did you learn? So coming out of it and right now you're Chief Agency Officer, EVP, very good company, very good position, in a very good situation right now, in a very good stage in your career. Again, to be able to address our audience, for them to get some practical tips and lessons and insights from you. What are the 3 things that you think are you learned from that the adversity that you went through that allowed you to come out of it?
Yeah, during those times, you would really realize that everybody loves a winner. Okay, everybody loves a winner. You would really know who your real friends are when you're really down there.
Wow.
Sabi ko nga, it was the lowest part of my
Of your
career.
career.
And then, but I learned also a lot, no, knowing who my real friends are and who, kumbaga, yung mga friends lang for a season, malalaman mo. Number 2,
That's powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2, you go back to your family, because they will be the people who will really tell you things that you need to hear and not the things that you want to hear. Also, real friends will tell you.
And sometimes those are not pleasant things, di ba? The unpleasant things.
Correct.
as well.
And then the third one is, as long as you know that you have the right principles in place, you know for a fact that you believe in something, alam mo na pagdating nung time na meron na sa yung darating na oportunidad, you'll be a wiser leader right now. So for me, the lessons I've learned there, dala-dala ko rin dito sa bago nating trabaho.
Yeah. So, number 1, everyone loves a winner, and that's during your moments of adversity, you will find out who your real friends are. Very powerful lesson. Number 2, the value of family, having a very good support system, and then the third point is still your principles.
Yeah.
No, so it's a strong sense of self-awareness and really the I guess the combination of all of your experience and your values as well.
Yes.
Dun kasi matitest yun,
Correct.
di ba?
Right.
So what is the advice that you can give to people now? If there's somebody who's listening and is undergoing some difficulty, some adversity, and you can address our audience, what's the one thing that you can tell them?
For those who are undergoing some challenges and adversity, no, on the side of work, know why you are facing those kinds of adversity. Iba-iba yun eh. Sometimes this is because maybe your plans are no longer working. So time for you to pivot, time for you to adjust. Sometimes also, let's face it, you're facing adversity because the people who you're working with and who you're working for are no longer supporting you. Diba? Those people who are you're working with and you're working for are doing something else pag hindi ka nakatingin behind your back, diba? Yun yung parang people who would want you to fail, diba? So I found out after I resigned that actually I was being investigated, pero awa ng Diyos, wala silang nakita. So when facing adversity, make sure that you know why you're facing your adversity. Pag kaya naman pong ma-overcome, okay, list down all the things that you need to do to overcome. Pero admittedly, Coach, medyo mahirap kasi pag yung reason for your adversity is the people or are the people you're working for and you're working with. That's very difficult.
So kung dito muna tayo sa work part, list down all the things that you can do and obviously what can you do to address those, right?
Yes. List down the top 3 things which you think you can address immediately.
Yeah.
For the short term, and then medium term, and then long term.
Okay.
And then for the short term, the 3 things that you've listed down, ano yung mas may impact para for you to come out of that adversity.
Now, what Stephen is talking about are the realities of work, especially those who are aiming for, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Maski saan, I've worked for the Ayala Group, I worked with the San Miguel Group, and I worked with the PLDT Group. It's politics is part of corporate life. I mean, you cannot escape that. So that's the other piece na sinasabi mo, diba? So on one side, it can be work adversity, professional, strictly professional. So your advice is figure out why you're there, what's going wrong, and then what are the top 3 things that you do. On the other side, if it's other things, okay, and what's your advice? There is a point kasi na some will say tiisin mo and some will say wag mo tiisin. What is the deciding factor?
Very good point, Coach, because some people were telling me, tiisin mo.
Yes.
You've been with the company for more than 12 years, bago sila. Pero sometimes you have to draw the line. If there's no more mutual respect, if there's no more respect whenever there's some meetings, if somebody's already raising his voice, and then somebody's taking it personally, do you really want that stress? So that can be a cause for you to step back and rethink, and maybe time for you also to step down.
Pero pag sinabi mong step back and think again, really think, right? Yeah. And I face that all the time. Sometimes, we work with a lot of executives and some people grabe, pero coach, kailangan ko itong trabaho to eh. Kailangan ko to para buhayin yung pamilya ko eh. So there's the one piece that will say, kailangan mo pala eh. Titiisin mo.
Correct.
I mean, just the practical side. But on the other side is if kung hindi mo na talaga kaya tiisin, then you just have to make a decision.
Yes.
But what Stephen is saying is, I guess, don't make an emotional or impulsive decision.
Correct.
You have to be able to step back, think again, and think once more and reflect.
Yes.
And then make that decision. Thankfully, on your side, it's turned out very well. And Stephen has emerged from it and enabled him to share those those very important lessons, those nuggets of wisdom to us. And I think what we were able to glean from our conversation today is, number one, leadership is hard.
Leadership is hard.
Leadership is hard. Working in corporations, there's the joy of there's the joy of leadership. There's the joy of achievement, but it's as well it has its pitfalls, and there's always those other things. And to those who want the life of the corporate life, fantastic benefits, perks, great opportunities, security, remuneration, just know that there are other things as well. And it's not always about your skills or and it's not always about work. Tama ba ako?
Tama yun. And hindi totoo yung whatever is bothering you in the office, don't bring it at home. Or don't bring it home. Hindi totoo yun. Kasi there was one of my former bosses who advised me. He was just observing me. Ang advice niya actually sa akin is take your targets and your plans seriously, but don't take it personally. So dumating sa akin, sabi ko, bakit kaya nasabi? Because I think he noticed that I'm taking it personally. As in, it affects the way I also behave at home, the way I act at home, na nadadamay na rin. That when I was coaching, pagkatalo, sasabihin ng wife ko sa mga yaya, ingat, tatalo. Mainit ulo niyan, isang mali. Ngayon, pag alam niyang medyo cut off, sasabihin, medyo cut off, medyo stress, medyo ingat tayo. So, ngayon, I'm adjusting na not really to take my targets and plans personally. I'm taking it seriously, of course, for us to be successful, but dun yung we draw the line between being taking it seriously and taking it personally. Leadership is hard, pero once you're at it, sabi nga nila, you have a tendency to enjoy the stress and the pressures as well. Yes. Sometimes.
When we invited Eric Spolstra to give a leadership talk to the MVP group executives, and the first thing he said when he went up on stage is, I'm writing my book on leadership. Wait for it. Sabi niya, ang title daw is that leadership sucks. Sabi niya. Kasi it's lonely, it's stress-filled, it's pressure-packed, it's, di ba, especially sa atin coaches, pag panalo yung team, ang galing ng players. Pag natalo yung team, ang tanga ng coach. It's always the leader's fault, right? But, sabi ni Alex Spolstra, leadership sucks, but I'd rather not be doing anything else. Yes. So there's still a lot of fulfillment, a lot of joy in leadership. Okay, one of our important segments in our episode, as you know, our advocacy in our Future Fit Heart of a Leader framework, in letter H is health, because for me, the foundation of all great leadership is health. Because if you're always on sick bay, how can you even be physically present to lead, right? So, can you tell us if you have what your fitness regimen is, exercise? I know you used to coach, be a head coach ng high school. So, today, what?
Sa ngayon, we're very fortunate that we have a gym, weights gym at in our Alabang office. There's also a coach there. So twice a week, I spend around 1 hour doing the treadmill and lifting some weights as well. More on cardio and more on how am I going to paano natin paliliitin yung tiyan natin. No? So I'm obviously I'm at the heavy side, but the company that I work with also provides us with regular ECU.
Yes.
So proud to say maganda yung result natin.
Yes, I'm about to have mine as well this week. Yes. So why do you do that? Why is that important for you?
For me, of course, I really would want to lose weight, no. But number two, really, whenever after exercising, mas nakiklear yung mind ko eh. Physically, for that 1 solid hour, napapagod ka. Sometimes I would even suffer from cramps, no? But after that, on my way home, mas fresh ka eh. Mas nakakapag-isip ka. So, usually yan ang schedule ko Monday and Thursday for 1 hour. And then if not, dun sa loob ng subdivision namin, I do some brisk walking.
Yes. So obviously, being in the industry that you are in, I mean, health is very important. Is that also part of the advocacy of in life? Is that something that you also talk about as a company? Yeah.
Yes, especially right now, we really would want to make sure that not only the agents but also the employees, are really looking after their health as well. Kaya nga, one of the programs also is that all employees are provided with the kumbaga support, and one of the benefits is providing all the employees with the executive check-up for free as well.
Yeah.
So, and we have a gym inside the office, and we have hired a coach.
That's very important. Yes, very. The employees of InLife are very fortunate to have that. With all of this talk on mental health and depression and all of these things going on, so you believe that physical fitness and being physically healthy plays a big role in that as well.
Very, very important. And I'm proud to say we even came up with a product. We call it resilience, so that it can also give our Filipino family or the Filipino families or customers some protection whenever they would need that, or whenever they would have some sickness. So also a good opportunity for them. So that's the reason why we're very, very passionate about health as well.
Galing, we tied the bow, the bow, the knot, we tied it so neatly. So after all the discussion on the lessons and all that, we ended on the note of resilience. Because in the end, to be able to constantly not only bounce back, but to bounce forward from adversity requires a lot of resilience. And in all the science and in all the workshops that we do, we say to be resilient, the reason why we really advocate fitness and working out, because that's the best way to build resilience. Diba? When hindi pagod ka na, but you tell yourself, sige, one more step or one more kilometer, 100 meters more, or you feel like you can't do it kasi tumakbo ka na kahapon, babangon na rin ako bukas, we'll do it again. Then you're building that grit, you're building that resilience. So that wraps up our episode for today. Another insightful and lesson-filled episode for Coaching Chronicles from someone who has lived the corporate life, working his way from being an agent all the way to being the top agency officer, chief agency officer in his organization. Again, the different facets of leadership and finding different elements and the different things that go on inside the arena. Stephen, we appreciate your wisdom, and thank you for being in the arena with us.
Thank you, Coach. An honor for me. Thanks for inviting.
Good luck. We wish you well.
Salamat, Coach. Good luck as well.
And here's to hitting all your targets.
Yes. Salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat.